Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of News Flash on the Hockey Writers YouTube channel. Quick turnaround on this one. Just finished talking about Kuzmenko, and now we're headed into Ottawa and Buffalo for a blockbuster. So this is like the most prototypical trade deadline hockey trade. There's no buyer here. There's no seller. This is a hockey trade, and this is the type of stuff I love. So in case you missed it, which if you're watching this, I assume you didn't, but the Ottawa Senators acquired Dylan Cozens, Dennis Gilbert, and a second-round pick for Josh Norris and Jacob Bernard Docker. I'm going to ask you this before we get into it. Is it Dennis Gilbert or is it Gilbert?
It's Gilbert.
Okay, that's what I thought. I wasn't sure if it had the French pronunciation on it.
You're good.
So, I mean, I cover the Senators, you cover the Sabres. This is just a huge deal to talk about. So, I'm going to start with you, and whether you want to talk about what Buffalo's giving up or what you think they're getting. Just kind of take this where you think. What are your thoughts on the deal?
I'm going to start with them giving this up because giving up Cozens in a hockey trade deal, we all saw coming. He's been in rumors since mid-November, early December, whatever. It is what it is. Giving up Gilbert, again, just his seventh defenseman, a fringe NHL roster defenseman who's not an everyday guy. Like, that's okay. But in a deal like this, to give up a second-round pick for a guy who hasn't played more than 60 games in the season, correct me if I'm wrong, and then a seventh defenseman in Bernard Docker, who, if the Sabres view Bernard Docker as a long-term solution to Owen Power's defense partner as a right-handed defenseman on that second pair, we might have a little bit of a problem because his underlying analytics are they're frankly god awful. And with Norris is in the same position as Cozens, where Cozens has the ceiling to be a 30-goal scorer if he plays 70, 75 games. We saw Cozens do it during the 2022-23 season. And if Norris can stay healthy, if he stays healthy the rest of the year, this year, he has a potential to get 30 goals. Don't know if he will. He has 20 in 53 games. But right now he's played some of the most games that he ever has in his career. So knock on wood, hopefully that stays the same. But the second round pick just feels a little bit much to me in a trade like this.
Yeah, I think from the Buffalo side of things, the Norris and Cozens swap makes a lot of sense for both sides. And Bernard Docker and Gilbert, I mean, whatever. I don't think either team gets better by doing that. It's just kind of a difference. But yeah, adding the second round pick, I don't know why that was necessary. From the Senator side of things, I'm sure everybody's more than happy to see that come along. And Buffalo doesn't need the picks, but that's not an excuse to just throw them away. Obviously, that was what was going to hold up this trade. But so with Josh Norris, I mean, he's a good two-way center. He's 30, 35 goal potential. He's done it before. On track to do it again, like you mentioned. And he is a bit physical. I think he's second on the team in hits, at least by forwards, only behind Brady Tkachuk, who everybody's behind Brady Tkachuk. He's got a lot of hits, but he's not that physical, which doesn't make sense to say out loud. But his hits are the smaller hits, which are certainly effective. But he's not as physical as Dylan Cozens can be. I know Cozens hasn't been, again, super physical this season, but again, Cozens has 146 hits. So, again, he's using his body well. He's a lot bigger than Norris is, and he's a right shot center. He's younger, and he has more upside, I think, and he's cheaper. That's a lot of good things for Cozens over Norris.
Yeah, and this feels like more of a trade where me personally, I'm going to have to wait to see how it plays out in a year and a half, 2 years down the road, because frankly, I felt like both of these players did need to change the scenery, especially Cozens following the Sabres closely, and then following the Senators. They're in the same division as the Sabres, so I see them play more often than other teams around the league. And seeing Norris needed to change the scenery, and I wonder if the Sabres couldn't have done better than Bernard Docker. I know the number one need, like I mentioned, has been Owen Power's D partner, but I'm kind of curious to see what other trades are on the table for a guy like Cozens, because Cozens was being traded no matter what. And there was a report from Chris Johnson that also said that the Senators are trying to push for Peterka, but clearly the Sabres didn't want to give up Peterka in a deal like this, which smart to do. But this again, it feels like just a swap of two players throwing a second round pick because, I mean, I guess both teams feel like Norris is a better player than Cozens. Like I get his defense is there. The Sabres need defense, especially up front in the forward core. But yeah, this is a trade that I'm going to have to wait to see. Like, you know what? Maybe it did pan out for both sides, or maybe there will be a clear winner in a couple of years.
Well, and I think the biggest thing for Ottawa is the even strength point. I don't have the exact stats on me. I know Josh Norris has 1 5v5 assist this season, which is not okay. Like that's not at all what Ottawa needs. They've struggled to score at points in the season, especially at even strength. Their power play has been good, which Josh Norris has certainly been a help with. But Cozens brings in that even strength scoring, and Ottawa desperately needed that. And then again, the swap for Bernard Docker and Gilbert, it's just more so a handedness swap. Bernard Docker's missed the last few weeks with injury, but he's ready to go now, or very soon. And with Tyler Clevin missing, he's listed as week to week. He's on the ice today, but he's missed the last 3 games, so he's not close to returning as far as I know. They need a left-handed defenseman, so Gilbert's probably going to get some ice time right away. He's got 25 games. He's more of a shutdown guy. Not the most effective, but he's a good third pair. Pretty well an even swap with Bernard Docker, just a little less offense.
Yeah, and I know that the Senators have struggled scoring at times, and I'm going to bring up Dylan Cozens and Josh Norris even strength splits. Even strength splits. So for the goals for Dylan Cozens, he has 9 even strength goals, and assists he has 18th even strength assists, which is clearly, like you mentioned, an area where you feel the Senators are lacking. And then Josh Norris even strength goals, he has 6 power play goals to 11 even strength goals, and an assist, he has 7 even strength assists to 5 power play assists. So again, you like more production, even strength from a guy like Norris, especially with the team that has struggled even strength, and with the team like Buffalo that has been one of the best teams and even strength. They have a 2.91 goals for per game at 5v5, which is one of the best in the league. And I saw a stat earlier this morning where out of the last 20 years, a team to have over a 2.85 goals for even strength goals for stat, that the team made the playoffs every single year. And the only team to miss the playoffs is the 22-23 Sabres, and the Sabres are on track to do it again. And this is, again, a swap of both teams see a need, especially for the power play and even strength. They're like, you know what, we'll swap it, see what we can get. Maybe it changes scenery, helps both of these players out.
Yeah, and I mean, just my last comment on here, I think the biggest concern is going to be the health of Josh Norris in this deal, which again is certainly going to be concerning for the Sabres, which I don't know why they added that second round pick. But with that shoulder, so he's had 3 shoulder surgeries. He's only 25, and he's had 3 season-ending shoulder surgeries. One actually bled into the next season. So yeah, it's a glass shoulder. It hasn't impacted him this season in terms of keeping him out of the lineup. He hasn't used his one-timer as much as he has in the past, which he has a fantastic shot in one-timer. It just hasn't been utilized this season. So I wonder if they're trying to keep it easy on the shoulder. I don't know. He's playing, like, he's throwing the hits. That's fine. So I don't think the shoulder's bugging him. I think just with the one-timers, they want him to be careful.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. And to wrap things up here, I mean, that's a lot of stress on your shoulder, and maybe Buffalo ends up throwing him. Oh, not maybe. They will end up throwing him on a power play 2 unit. And frankly, Cozens has been non-existent on the power play 2 unit most of the year, so maybe that will give them a spark.
Yeah. So, Zach, thanks for joining me yet again. This has been a huge deal, and I'm still trying to process most of it. But yeah, I'm sure I'll see you again this afternoon. For everybody else that's watching, thank you for spending the last 10 minutes with us, and make sure to check out all the other breaking news on the Hockey Writers YouTube channel. It's also all on the hockeywriters.com, and make sure to check out the Substack for everything to come straight to your email every morning. So thanks for watching, and we'll probably see you in a few minutes.